Hey guys, in today's video I'm looking to do a breakdown of the costs associated with getting started in the tree climbing / arborist industry. I will be doing this by going over my personal climbing gear that I have acquired over the past few years when I started climbing. Now the gear that I have here would be what I consider to be a good solid kit to be able to pretty much tackle any climbing job or tree that you might find yourself in. There are definitely lots of climbers out there who have way more gear than this and use it regularly, and on the other side there are probably some out there who would say that I have way too much gear. But all in all, I consider this to be a fairly average representation of the gear required to be a proficient climber, able of doing everything from pruning stationary rope to doing full removals, double rope. And if you're watching this and you're either interested in becoming a climber or just starting out and are beginning to collect some of your own gear, keep in mind that I didn't buy all of this at once. I started off basically just with spurs and a saddle and a rope, and as my skills improved, I climbed more and evaluated what I liked, didn't like, and what I thought I needed that would add to my kit, and slowly started adding this gear to what I had. So don't feel like you need all of this stuff right off the bat, because you definitely don't. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to start off with the ropes that I have. I have two, and I'll show you what I have and also how much it cost me when I bought it. I'll also put all of the prices, I'll say them in Canadian because I'm Canadian, and I'll also, in the video, I'll put in what the cost would be in US dollars. Okay, so first rope is, this is Adrenaline by Teufelberger, I believe, and this is my main rope that I use. So I have 120 feet of Adrenaline, 150 feet of Adrenaline, and that cost me $198 Canadian when I bought it. And it did come with a slice on the end, but unfortunately I nicked it and had to cut that off the end, so now it just has an end here that I added some throw line, and then I usually use this little accessory beaner to just clip into my throw line and pull it over the crotch. So yeah, so 150 feet of Adrenaline. I use it for SRT and double rope, and it works awesome. It's a little bouncy, but I can get into that into another video, but all in all, use it for everything. It goes great with my Akimbo, which I'll get to later. And yeah, this is my main climb line. The next rope that I have is this. This was my first rope that I used, and I still use it today. It's still a great rope. I was using it yesterday doing some utility trimming, and yeah, works great. This is, I believe, Yale Spearmint. It would run you around $120 Canadian, and this is the 120 foot section of Yale Spearmint. The next is my lanyard, and for my lanyard I use a 12 foot section of Sterling Tech 11, and yeah, it's awesome for a lanyard. It's pretty rigid, so it helps for flip lining, and also it is, what it's best known for is it's resistant to nicks, especially with handsaws. It's gonna, a chainsaw will cut right through it, but if for just little nicks with handsaws that unfortunately do happen sometimes, yeah, it's awesome for that. So for a lanyard where it'll be the most likely thing that you would nick with your handsaw, it works awesome. And that was $73 Canadian. Next, I'll move into hitch cords. So I have quite a few different hitch cords. I also have this piece of beeline that I have that I was using the other day, and then I usually carry one 28-inch hitch cord on my saddle just for using for either redirects or if I need to use a quick hitch for something, it just comes handy. So I have two, well actually technically three, 28-inch armor prussics and eyes. These two are 8mm, this one's 10, and I personally like 28-inch. So I have three of these, and each one is around $37 Canadian. And then I have a 28-inch section of 10mm beeline, which is spliced, and this costs $60. And I also have the other 28-inch section of beeline. So that is it for the cordage. Next I'll go over my saddle setup, and this, I run an older version, like the 2017 version of the Petzl Sequoia, not the SRT version. Yeah, I really enjoy the saddle. It cost me $606 when I got it, and it's been a great saddle. I run it with one Petzl Care tool, which was like $13, and then I just have an old screw gate carabiner that I had from before that I use as another care tool on one side, and then on the other I have a Carabiner XL, and this is what I use for my chainsaw, and it's honestly the best. I've never had anything fall out of it because it doesn't have a gate. It's way tougher. I had a large care tool, or no, I had another small one, and I broke that because a branch got into the gate, and then I didn't notice, and I tried to pull up on my line, and then it just snapped right in half. So after that, I got this, and honestly, these are way better. I would very much recommend them, especially for holstering your saw really quick and getting it out. It's the best. And an extra large Carabiner will cost around $39. That's my saddle setup. I usually run another bridge on here that I just tied with two double fishermans. This is the Cmi Cally Swivel, and it was $113. And it's really great. It works. The swivel's awesome. So that is my harness. Now for the hardware. I have two Dmm Pintos, and I have two of those. One I use usually for my lanyard, and then the other one I pretty much use exclusively for redirects through a Pinto cinch. Not redirects, canopy tie. I use a Pinto cinch for the canopy tie, and this is the one that I usually use. I just have this piece of paracord, and then I just usually have it attached onto this Exotica Pirate Carabiner. That way I just have more assurance that I won't accidentally drop one of these while I'm in the tree. So there are two Pinto pulleys at $62 each. And then next is the Dmm Ultra O's. I have 5 Ultra O's. This is my most used carabiner, probably my favorite all-around one to use. The only thing is the gates can get gummed up pretty easily sometimes, but overall, awesome carabiners. I use them a lot, and those are $29 each. Next, I have 2 Petzl rings. Each ring costs around $23. I have this ring, which usually I'll put on my second bridge, and then I have this ring, which I've used another smaller ring that I already had, and then a short piece of dynamo webbing, and I made a soft 8, which I use for reed racks or canopy ties. Next is the Dmm Rapide Pulley. It's basically just a hitch climber pulley, and it's got a little more efficient bearing on it. And I use this for my hitch climber setup, also when I'm using a rope wrench, and yeah, it's awesome. I paid $67 for that. Next, I have Exotica Rock O Carabiner. This one is just pretty much permanently always on my Akimbo, and that one is $27. And then I have another Exotica Rock O, but it has the wire eye, and I usually use this for my lanyard, and I put the eye through it just so it stays oriented correctly. And this version of the Rocco is $35. Then I have the Rock Exotica Pirate Carabiner. I usually always use this in conjunction with this Pinto, and I use it for my Pinto cinch canopy anchor, and it works great. The Rock Exotica Pirate was also $27. I also have a Dmm accessory carabiner, which I use on the end of my Adrenaline, and I just clip it in to the eye that I made in my throw line and help pull it over the crotches, and it works great. And that is $13. Next, I have the Dmm Revolver Rake. It's a carabiner with a pulley on it. I use this mostly when I need to do a 3-to-1. So if I'm going up and down a tree multiple times, I just set the 3-to-1 up at the top, and then it just helps make it a little easier when you're going up multiple times, or if you're doing a long limb walk, it can help with that. I pretty much always do the 3-to-1 with the scam system. So if you've seen Free Fallen's video, that's where I got it from, and this is the carabiner that I've chosen to use with that. A revolver rake will cost around $117. Next, I'm going to move on to my ascenders, my multi-ascender, rope wrench, my foot ascender, knee ascender, and my chest harness. I'll start with the rope wrench. It is an ISC Singing Tree rope wrench with an at height, I think this is a 9-inch split end tether, and that costs, the rope wrench part is $125, and the tether was $45. Next, the Akimbo. This is what I use probably 85 to 90% of the time when I'm climbing. So my most used device, I really enjoy it, especially with my Adrenaline rope. I've got it dialed in where I can pretty much always kind of anticipate how it's going to react. And I know a lot of people find it finicky, but so far I've enjoyed it. So the Akimbo was $450. That was on pre-order. I'm not sure if that's the same now as it was, but that's what it was when I got it on pre-order. And I used a CT foot ascender. I just took a little bit of throw line and added it on there just to help get it open sometimes. especially if you have like big gloves or something. It can just make it a little easier. Great foot ascender. Would recommend it. And that was $109. And then for knee ascender, I use the Saka Mini. Richard Mumford. I love it. I'm really short, so I just took the whole bungee, just tripled it over to get the maximum kind of pull for my step. If you're gonna get a knee ascender, I would recommend getting a Saka. It's way cheaper than the alternatives. It works awesome, and you're supporting one of the climbing community's own. And the Saka cost me... Ooh, I don't actually have that. I almost forgot as well. For my chest harness, I use a 4 SRT Chester. And yeah, I really enjoy it. Works pretty good, pretty adjustable. And this cost $53. Next, my handsaw. So for my handsaw, I use a Silky Tsurugi. I like how thin the blade is compared to a Zubat. And I carry it on my leg, and for that I use the notched Talon leg straps. It's supposed to be attached with a rubber kind of clamp that comes with the Talon, but those broke within, I don't know, it was the first few times that I used it, so I ended up having to strap it on a different way. But there are other companies that make similar things. I'm not sure I would get the notch version again just because it broke so quickly, but anyway, that's besides the point. So I use a Silky Tsurugi handsaw and the notched Talon leg mounts. The Tsurugi was $97 and the Talon leg straps were $48. Next we have Spurs. These are the original Spurs that I got when I first started climbing. They work great. Actually, I started off with leather spur pads and then switched to the aluminum. These are way more comfortable. They support your leg better and are just overall more comfortable. So these come in 2 separate parts when you order them. So you order the pads separate from the actual Spurs. And the Spurs itself are Buckingham, they're steel, and I have tree gaffs on them. This part cost $333, and then for the aluminum spur pad, they were $122. Next I'll go into PPE. I always use chainsaw protective footwear. I think you really should if you're using a chainsaw, even if it's in a tree. I know some people just use steel-toed boots, some people use not even steel-toed boots. I definitely think you should at least use steel-toed boots when you're climbing with a chainsaw. A great option, and the one that I chose to go with for chainsaw protective boots, are these Hakes. These are the Hakes Protector Ultras. I've had these for about a year now. They last as well as any other boot would, and as much as you can really expect when you're doing tree work. It's pretty hard on boots. The Hakes Protector Ultras are around $495. Next, my herd hat is just a Petzl Vertex. This is the Canadian version, the CSA one. Technically, to be CSA, it comes with these little plastic mounts you put in the side, but when you put those in, it doesn't really work with your ear pro, so not really sure what the deal was with that, so I just used it without. So the Petzl Vertex, the Canadian version, this 2019 version, cost $130. And then these are originally the earmuffs off of Husqvarna helmet that I took off and put on here. I couldn't tell you how much those cost. They were free for me, so that's what I run. And then I just get a new hygiene kit whenever they start to get a little gross and wear out. Rocking the Tree Life sticker on the back. For chainsaw pants, I run the Clogger Zeros. They're awesome, especially in the summer. Super light, and they seem to last quite a long time. And the Clogger Zeros, $385. I also always have my first aid kit on me. And this is a Silver Bowl trauma kit. It has a blood stopper and tourniquet in it. And to open it up, you pull the Velcro and then pull up on this tab, and then everything comes out, which makes it easy to do one-handed if you were to injure an arm or something with a saw. That costed $98. And then for saw lanyard, I use a Recoil Lanyard. I usually have a carabiner clipped on this side, clip that onto my top handle, and then I have the other end girth hitched onto the hole at the bottom of the tool carrier. And the full reach tool lanyard costed $55. And for a throw cube, I just use this Weaver cube. Opens up like that. My line, I use Dynaglide. Seems to work pretty good. I have one notch 16-ounce throw weight on one side, and then on the other I have a smaller Weaver 10-ounce throw weight. So for different situations, having a smaller or larger throw ball is beneficial. And I've actually spliced loops onto the end of my throw line. For 150 feet of Dynaglide throw line, that is $57. For the throw cube, that's $37. The notch throw weight was $24. And then for the smaller Weaver throw weight, that was $18. And finally, I'll go over my rope storage. So I have two different rope bags. This is one I carry my drum line in, and I'll put, there's lots of room in there, so I have 150 feet of drum line in there, and then there's enough room for me to put my harness in on top of that, my throw cube in there, my handsaw, and then I could even put my hard hat. So I can put all of that in there, my rope, my saddle, my handsaw, my throw cube, close this up, put my helmet on top of that, and then put this cover over, and then I can carry it all at once. And if you've ever had to carry your climbing gear a long way and you only have like duffel bag style handles, it's a real pain. It's super annoying. So having a bag that I can carry like a backpack and have both hands free so I can carry my chainsaw or a pole or something, it really helps, and I definitely think it's better than a duffel style rope bag. So this is the Dmm Porter bag, I believe. Yep, the Dmm Porter rope bag, and that was $104. I believe I got that like 15% off on a sale. And then I just have another cheap portable winch rope bag. That's where I keep my other rope in. And that was $25. So this is what a typical setup would look like when I'm actually working. So I got my saw on my lanyard, I can reach, and then I have my handsaw on my right leg. Got my harness. I only have one bridge on right now, but I have my swivel. I have my lanyard, which I can adjust easily with my hitch cord. And I pretty much only use this carrot tool just for my lanyard. And then on this side, I have my soft 8. I have a few loop runners, pieces of webbing, and those are always super helpful. If you need an extra foothold, you're not really super stable, you girth hitch it around a branch or the trunk, put your foot in it, it'll really help you stabilize when you're making a cut. Or if a branch is a little bit big to cut just with one hand and you're a little bit nervous of it slipping or if it's an awkward shape, you just girth hitch a loop run around there, wrap that around your hand, cut it off, let it swing, and then throw it in the drop zone where it needs to go. And yeah, so those were always super helpful. Got my Pinto for canopy anchors, and then on this side I have my Dmm Revolver Rake, an extra oval carabiner in case I want to switch from double to stationary rope. Then I just use this carabiner, and then I have my rope wrench. And yeah, that is pretty much my setup. So it's kind of an overview of how much everything costs that I have, and it just gives you an idea of the general costs of a decent set of climbing equipment and what you might need, the more essential items, and then things that you can probably wait till later to get once you start making more revenue.